Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Hope you're all well and welcome back to the channel. Today it's time we talk about the Champions League Matchday 2. It's Monday today, so the games are about to start from tomorrow, and it's going to be an interesting match day filled with loads of interesting games. But before we start looking at those fixtures and those games, let's quickly see where my team is at after match day 1. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Thanks everyone for watching, I appreciate you all, and let's go. So for match day 1, my team got a total of 70 points, as you can see on the screen. I am happy with this performance from my team, so even though it's not, the score is not too crazy, I'm still happy, mostly because I got returns from most of my starting 11 players. So as you can see on the screen, the only really disappointing players for this game for me were the Inter Milan players. So both of my Inter Milan players got dropped. Thuram and Di Marco didn't start in their game. For some reason I thought both of these players would be nailed to start. From what I saw at the start of the season, I think these were one of the better players for Inter Milan, but especially Thuram, he was the in-form attacker for them, but that's why I went for him, but in the end they both ended up getting benched, and Sommer lost his clean sheet as well. But other than the Inter Milan players, the rest of the team got some returns. As you can see, most of the other players had a solid amount of points, and I captained Harry Kane in the end. I switched it from Haaland, who was my captain on Tuesday, and when he only got 5 points, I decided to go for Harry Kane, and that was a good decision as well. So at the end, 70 points all around. I'm happy with this score, and we move on to matchday 2. Now let's go to my matchday 2 team. So if you watched the matchday 1 video that I did before the Champions League game started, I told you guys back then about my plan, my chip plan, chip strategy, as I should say, for this season. So even before the season started, I decided to make a team that's going to be a good team for game matchday 1 and matchday 3 and beyond. And for matchday 2, I decided that I'm going to use one of my chips for this matchday. So here is how my team looks. This is the original team, the current team that I have for this matchday. So let's look at why I'm looking to use my chip for this week. So where should I start? Let's start with the Real Madrid players, for example. So I have two Real Madrid players, Jude Bellingham and Fede Valverde. Now Real Madrid, matchday 2, they play Napoli away, which sure, they could definitely get some returns in this game. I'm not saying that they won't, but we have to keep in mind that this is, on paper at least, the hardest fixture for Real Madrid in their group stage. So Napoli away should be the hardest, or the fixture in which their players are least likely to get returns. I would say the same probably goes for Barcelona, for example. So I have Robert Lewandowski and Christensen, I'm sorry. So, but they play Porto away, which once again on paper should be the hardest fixture for Barcelona for this season's Champions League. The same could be said about my Leipzig players. So I have Raum and Simons from Leipzig, who play Manchester City, arguably the best team in the world. So those two players also I'm not too happy for this week. The Inter Milan players as well, they play Benfica, who I think is possibly the second best team in their group, after themselves, of course. So another team that I need to switch the players around from. And so yeah, that's the main reason why for matchday 2 my original plan was, and it still is, to play my one of my chips, and that chip is going to be the Limitless chip, Limitless wildcard I believe the name is. And let's go to this tab. So for the ones of you that don't know, basically this chip is like a free hit in the Fantasy Premier League, so you can make an unlimited amount of transfers in your team, with the most important thing being that price doesn't really matter for this chip. So you could go for all the most expensive players in the game if you wanted to, so your team value could go above 100 million. It's not a problem, and in next game week obviously your team will be back to normal, back to the team from matchday 1. So yeah, now let's remove all the players that I think I will not have in my matchday 2. So like I said, I'm going to remove the Real Madrid players for this game. I'm also going to remove the Inter Milan players. We're going to remove the Barcelona players as well, Leipzig players. I'm also going to remove these Manchester City players because I'm not quite sure that these two players are going to start in this game. I might need to use my ordinary transfers for matchday 3 to get these players out of my team, and I'm also going to remove my Feyenoord defender because they play Aston Villa away, and this goalkeeper as well. So from the 15 players that I had in my matchday 1 team, as it stands, only 2 will stay in my team, or it might even be only 1. I might even remove Harry Kane. I will see about that. I haven't decided. So the rest of the team we need to fill. So let's start with my team for matchday 2. So we're gonna move through some teams that I think are going to have a good game week. So the first team I want to get some players from is going to be Arsenal. Now I didn't have any Arsenal players in matchday 1. And I wasn't sure how Arsenal would perform in that game, and they were very good in their opening Champions League game. They won 4-0, I believe. It was against PSV, so I thought that PSV would potentially be the second best team in their group, so I wasn't sure how this game was going to go for them. But they absolutely dominated the game, and they definitely, I think, now have shown us that they are definitely a very good team like they were last season, and I expect them to go far in the Champions League, and I also expect them to dominate this group stage. So matchday 2 they play Lens away, which should be one of their easier fixtures, definitely the easiest opponent in this group, I would say. And even though it's an away game, Arsenal actually are a team that play a lot better statistically in away games than home games actually, so they tend to keep a lot more clean sheets in away games as well. So I think this is the first team that I want to get some players from for matchday 2. So Martin Odegaard is going to be one of the midfielders that I want from Arsenal for this game week. Absolutely nailed, very creative, and I expect him to get some returns in this matchday. So I would also potentially like to get Bukayo Saka as well. We are going to add him for now. The problem with Bukayo Saka is that he's currently struggling with some potential injuries. It wasn't clear if he was going to start for Arsenal in this weekend in the Premier League against Bournemouth away. He was flagged as a potential injured player. He didn't really train with the team, but in the end he was in the starting 11. But after the game he struggled again with some apparent injury, so for now I'm going to add him in the team, but I'm going to keep an eye on to see what the manager says about Bukayo Saka. Is he going to travel with the team for this game or not, and all of that. If he is with the team, then I expect he's going to start in this game, and in that case I would like to have him in my team. If not, then I will find some different midfielder from another team, but for now he is going to be in the team. And also I would like to add a defender as well from Arsenal. Like I said, they have one of the best defensive stats for clean sheets in away games this and last season. So Arsenal are a team that tends to keep a lot more clean sheets away from home than when they play at home. So I would like to add an Arsenal defender in my team. For now it's going to be Gabriel. Originally I planned to add William Saliba, but he's also seems to be struggling with some kind of injury at the moment, and I do wonder if Arteta is going to use this match day, this game for Arsenal to rest some of the players that have some that are carrying some injuries, like William Saliba and Bukayo Saka. So I would rather go for Gabriel, who I suspect is quite nailed, and I think he will be starting this game no matter what. So these are my 3 Arsenal players for this game week. Now let's move on to another team. Another team that I think will have a good game in matchday 2. That team is Atletico Madrid. So you all know Atletico Madrid. They are a known team for having a very solid defense, and they are a team that tend to, especially when they play at home, that they tend to always keep the games tight and don't concede many chances, and then possibly look to score 1 or 2 goals and win their game 1 or 2-0. That's what Atletico Madrid have been for years now, and I expect this game is going to be the same for them. So they play Feyenoord at home, and I would like to add a couple of options from Atletico Madrid, mostly defensive options, like I said, because they are a known team that tends to keep lots of clean sheets in the Champions League. So I would add their goalkeeper first, and then I would possibly look to add a defender as well. I'm looking at Molina, who in matchday 1 didn't get a clean sheet, but he got an assist. So I'm looking to add this player as well, and I would have 2 Atletico Madrid defenders in my team, and they are going to be on my bench for the start because Atletico Madrid play on Wednesday. But then I would look to add one of or 2 of these defenders in my starting 11 after the matchday 2, after the Tuesday games. I'm sorry. So I would add these 2 defenders for now, and then possibly, I haven't decided yet, but in the attacker spot I might go for a little differential player. Let me just see if I can find him here. I don't, yeah, here he is on the top. So potentially a differential option, Antoine Griezmann, 10.5 million, but like I said, price doesn't affect my team for this game week. So why Griezmann? Like I said, this is a game that I think Atletico Madrid will do quite good in. I expect Antoine Griezmann to obviously start and play the whole game. He's definitely their most important player at the moment. He's in form as well. He has scored a couple of goals in their last league games as well, and he is a player that tends to go and play well in patches. So when he gets 2 or 3 good games, he tends to prolongate that run of form a couple of more games as well. So plus you can see here on the screen, last game week, even though he didn't get any attacking returns, he still ended on 5 points because he got player of the match. This is important as well because there are some players that tend to get this reward quite often. So I would imagine if Antoine Griezmann manages to score at least 1 goal in this game against Feyenoord, he is very likely going to get a player of the match once again, which would be 3 extra points for him. So I quite like getting him as a third attacking option, but I haven't decided yet. If this will definitely be the case, I might go for him. I might go for a differential player. I'm looking at Kylian Mbappe potentially. And so yeah, like I said, for now we are going to leave him in the starting in the team, but we'll see what my final decision will be until the deadline for tomorrow. So let's go to another team that I want to get some players from. We are at Bayern Munich, so let's go to them. So Bayern Munich, an amazing team, a goal scoring machine. Even though this is possibly the hardest game for Bayern Munich in their group stage as well, I still expect them to comfortably score 3 or 4 goals in this game, and I would like to have a couple of their attackers. So Harry Kane is in my team, and potentially he's going to stay in my team for this game, but I would also like to add a second attacker from Bayern Munich, and that attacker is going to be Leroy Sané, another player that's in form for them and seems to be quite nailed. He does start most of their games, and I expect he's going to have a good link up with Harry Kane, and I expect points from both of them in this game. And then I will potentially add a defender as well, Anthony Davis, a player that's super attacking. So even though Bayern Munich might not end up keeping a clean sheet in this game, I still expect Anthony Davis to get some attacking returns, maybe an assist. I believe he got an attacking return in game week 1, matchday 1, or maybe not, maybe he didn't. But I still expect will be the case in matchday 2. This game might be a tighter game as well. This might be a game in which Bayern Munich try to be patient, control the game, and then look to score 2 or 3 goals in the second half to kill the game off. And I wouldn't be surprised if the scoreline in this game ends up being 0-2 or 0-3. So I will add a Bayern Munich defender as well, Anthony Davis. Now we move to the next team, and then that team for me would be, let me just see here, so I would look to add a Man United attacker. So Bruno Fernandes is the player that I'm looking to get. Marcus Rashford would be an interesting option as well, but he is listed as a forward, and I already have some potentially better forward options at the moment. So instead I'm going with Bruno Fernandes, their most nailed player, who is in a great form as well. He's on penalties, as you all know, and I expect this game, Man United versus Galatasaray, to be a high scoring game mostly. Expect both teams are going to score 2 or 3 goals in this game. It might be a high scoring draw, or Man United might end up winning, or Galatasaray might surprise everyone, but I still can see lots of goals being scored in this game, and that's why I would like to have at least one Man United attacker, and that attacker for this game for me is going to be Bruno Fernandes. I wouldn't really look to add a defender, like I said, because I don't really think Man United will keep a clean sheet in this one. So having one Man United player is good enough for me for this game. And then let's move to Manchester City. So like I said, Manchester City, even though this on paper should be the hardest fixture for them, Leipzig away, I still wouldn't be surprised if Manchester City absolutely dominate this game and score loads of goals. I don't expect them to keep a clean sheet though, I have to say, but I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game 1 or 1-3 or 1-4, something like that. So other than Erling Haaland, I'm looking to add one more attacking option for Manchester City. I would like to add Julian Alvarez, but he is listed as a striker, and I already have my striker spot filled. So instead I'm looking at some of their midfielders, and at the moment I think I would like to have Phil Foden in my team. I think Phil Foden should start this game. I think Manchester City are going to play their best 11 for this one, and Phil Foden at the moment seems to be part of their best 11. He's picked up some sort of form as well, I have to say, so he would be my second Manchester City attacking option for this game week. No defensive options though. Like I said, I don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet with this one, but let's wait and see what's going to happen. So I'm only going to have two Manchester City options in this week, and then one more team that I think could potentially have a good game week coming up would be Paris Saint-Germain. So I'm looking at potentially getting a defensive option for them. Newcastle away. I know some people will say, especially people that watch and play the Premier League fantasy game, that Newcastle is a hard fixture, but I mean, I expect PSG is quite a good team, and I'm not quite sure how ready Newcastle will be for this game. They have played lots of games recently, lots of high quality, high intensity games in the Premier League, and they have picked up a couple of injuries, mostly in their defensive spots, but in some of their attacking players as well. Callum Wilson, for example, he's injured, as you all know. Harvey Barnes got injured as well, couple of their defenders, so I wouldn't be surprised if PSG go to Newcastle and win this game and potentially try to top this group as soon as possible. So I wouldn't be surprised if PSG end up being first in their group by game week 4, match the 4, and then the last two games wouldn't matter for them. I think they are a good team, and I would look to add a couple of their players. So Hakimi is the first player that I would add. Like I said, they might keep a clean sheet in this one. He's super attacking as well. As you can see here, last game he scored a goal. Plus he gets a lot of these ball recovered points as well, 3 points from that. So a player that could potentially get another haul after his 15 points in match 1. So I'm looking to add him in my team, and then potentially I could also go for Kylian Mbappe as well, but I'm in between him and Antoine Griezmann at the moment. I haven't decided. I do wonder if Newcastle are going to park the bus in this game and try to keep it tight, and if this game might end up being 0-0 for very long, or maybe a close win for one of the two teams. And I have to decide if I would rather have Kylian Mbappe in this type of game, or go for Antoine Griezmann, who plays at home. That's one of the decisions that I have to make, but for now let's keep Mbappe in my team. And then we have 2 more spots left to fill. So for the goalkeeper's spot, I'm looking at a goalkeeper that plays on Tuesday. That's very important because I have Jan Oblak, who's going to play his game on Wednesday. So if my goalkeeper from Tuesday doesn't get any returns, then I can sub him off for the Atletico Madrid goalkeeper. So from the teams that play their games on Tuesdays, it's actually quite hard to predict which team might end up getting a clean sheet. I suppose Arsenal is one of the teams that I'm confident has a good chance to keep a clean sheet in, but I already have 3 Arsenal players. I suppose if Bukayo Saka is going to miss this game, I could potentially remove him and add Arsenal's goalkeeper, so and double up in their defense. That's one thing that I might end up doing. Other than that, I think I will probably go back to Inter Milan for the moment, and they have a home fixture, and I would potentially look to add their goalkeeper and see if they manage to keep a clean sheet in this one. So Zomer, he would be back in my team for the time being. If they don't keep a clean sheet, I will just play Jan Oblak from Wednesday. At least that's the plan. And then we have one more spot left to fill, and honestly I haven't decided who I'm gonna go for in this last spot. at the moment I think the one team that I have that I thought that might potentially end up keeping a clean sheet in this one is Borussia Dortmund, so that's the team that I might end up going for. Let me just remove Inter. So I might end up going for a defensive option from them. I'm not quite sure, but I'm potentially looking at Hummels to add in my team. He still is, I believe, one of their most nail players when he is fit, and as you can see here, 11 balls recovered, so this is a stat that this player that works quite well with Matt Hummels as well, even though Dortmund lost the game against Paris Saint-Germain 2-0. He still ended up on 4 points in this game, and Matchday 2 they play Milan at home, and Borussia Dortmund is a team that tends to play it quite well when they are playing in front of their crowd at home. So this is potentially the last player that I would look to add in my team, and here it is. I have, let me just confirm the transfers. So the chip is already played. Yeah, we are good. So this is how my Matchday 2 team would look like. Let me just see. So I would put my Atletico Madrid goalkeeper on the bench, the PSG players on the bench because they played their game on Wednesday as well, and then let me just add Molina on the bench. I'm not sure when Dortmund played their game, so let's just do this for now. And yeah, this is how my team would look, or at least how it looks at the moment for Matchday 2. I still have one more day to decide what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna make any transfers, and hopefully I get to hear some early team news, and let's see what happens in Matchday 2. Hopefully it will be another good match day for me and for you guys as well. And yeah, that's all that I have for today. Thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate all of you. Enjoy this week's Champions League games, and yeah, that's all. See you at the next video.